Hey, everybody, it's another episode of Total Geek Live Trailer Trashing. I'm Guy, and with me as always is Baltimore, Kaiser, and Danny. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest trailers of this year outside of Avengers. That would be Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. We finally have a name after months and months and months of silence, so it exists. It's not just a number.
It's a
The
title.
rinse and repeat of Skywalker.
With words. It's crazy.
It has 4 words.
4 of them. So, this is going to be an interesting trailer, Trashin, I think, because I think once we get into the heart of this, we're going to have to kind of discuss where we've been and where we think this is going, because as many people know, this new Star Wars sequel trilogy has had a interesting history, and it's definitely caused some divisiveness among all the fans who love Star Wars, who have loved Star Wars and everything else. So I guess, do we want to get to the trailer first and then start talking about it?
Yeah.
So, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Alright, so trailer window is up. And make sure I got the sound good and cranked. Alright.
All right.
So I'm going to hit play now.
All right. I knew that logo. These trailers start breathing.
Yeah.
They're breathing or telling you to breathe. Maybe all these characters have asthma on all these desert planets.
Yeah, I would say all that dust is affecting their lungs.
God, I didn't hydrate a Burning Man.
It's a filter.
That's what I lightsaber. It's a filter.
Generations
Water
living here
filter.
now.
Is that Solo's blaster?
Oh wait, I didn't even notice.
I didn't
She
even
wears-
notice that. If she has Skywalker's lightsaber and Solo's blaster, come on.
That's pretty cool.
And
She's just collecting
C-3PO's,
cool items, iconic items off the dead.
3PO.
C-3PO's golden arm.
No,
Scavenger.
I mean, it would make sense to use this cap.
Yeah, his strawberry jam in arm.
As R2-D2's dome, she wears this like a Raiden hat.
Maybe a shield.
She's got Lando's mustache once he kicks. Well, he gets his mask back. Woo!
Yep.
We'll always be with you. No one's ever really gone.
Vincent Price? Is this a thriller? Hidden thriller sequel?
The evils of the Skywalker.
Yep.
Okay, so episode 9. Here we go. Right now my thoughts are cautiously optimistic. We had this discussion about 2 years ago with The Last Jedi. I think of all the 4 of us, I was probably the most lenient of the group on saying I liked it and everything else.
Probably.
Probably, I think that would be a fair thing. But yeah, going back and really watching it, because that's like the really hard part about me. It's like whenever I watch Star Wars, I always get so caught up in all the hype and the mania and everything else. It's like, oh, Star Wars. And I've had to learn how to temper my expectations after Last Jedi, which, you know, after we've all followed this since kids, it was like the first time, and it's like I'm trying not to let fan crazy, you know, build my expectations or judgment of it. But yeah, I'm excited. The scenes they showed for this teaser, because normally they would have shown something a long time ago, and they're really keeping, Disney is really keeping reserved on this. So I want it to be good. I want it to be good, but I'm just hesitant in light of the nihilistic troll fest that was the Last Jedi. I'm just they're going to try to wrap this whole thing up in this one film, and I'm just, how are they going to do it? Is that even possible?
Yeah, because they don't
But
just have to fix everything the Last Jedi broke in this film. This is the 9th. It's got to conclude an entire 8 previous movie arc
mhm.
to pull in and wrap up. So it's got a lot it has to do if it's going to appease or please and entertain the masses.
and
I
that's one
feel
thing.
like we have to be willing to not be completely satisfied.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Kaiser, with the wrong turn that episode 8 took, this one has to really right the ship and end the series saga on a note that is, for most part, appealing and satisfactory. And I have a lot more faith now that JJ is back for it. Because he knew what he wanted to do. He left it open for the next director, and the next director did what he did. So he's back
Yeah.
again, and so I think he.
Jump on it's what he did.
I've never seen a movie break someone's heart as much as walking out of episode 8 with my nephew, and he was just broken.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
there with him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a lot to hold up to. And I think, one of the things that's really challenging about it is that you've lost all of your stars, so to speak. In the film series, 2 of them have died, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. And now we won't have General Leia for this one, for the most part. I know they're using some scenes that weren't used in previous films to kind of bridge that. But yeah, that's an absence of connection that's going to be felt pretty hard.
Got Lando though.
They have Lando until they kill him. If they do that, I'm like throwing a chair or something at that point.
You're just gonna rip the theater seat up.
I am. I'm going to totally rip up a chair out of the theater and just throw it. Sorry in advance, people in the front rows.
But
Or the
before
person
that,
in the
you
chair.
take your Colt, before that, you take your Colt 45 and pour out a little bit for her.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's the one thing that I mean, I guess with Leia, I mean, it's like, what did they film? How many scenes did they film? Because it's like I would think if they've said they're not going to use CG with her, they're not going to do anything. It's like they're going to have to build the scenes around her, and contextually, is that going to be enough? I think is one of the big questions. And then there's the matter of, a lot of people criticized. I liked Force Awakens. I did. I thought it was a nice kind of a fan service. Hey, we're giving you the Star Wars that you like again. I know people felt mixed about the prequels, but we're giving you the type of Star Wars you like again. And then we're introducing all these new questions that will, as you said, Baltimore, laid out over the next couple films. And in Last Jedi, Rian Johnson just kind of did this whole nah, and everything. It was always that joke about subverting expectations, and he did to the detriment of. We still don't know why they're fighting this fight 30 years after Return of the Jedi. We still don't know who Snoke was. We still don't know anything they presented in Force Awakens. It was literally the next day after Force Awakens, and for some reason, all the characters that you kind of built up a relationship with in Force, they all got stupid. They all made stupid, bad decisions, and at the end of the day, they didn't really accomplish anything other than Luke dying, and that was pretty much it. And they were no better off or worse than they were 2.5 hours later.
Yeah. No, it was a very challenging film to follow up with.
Right.
Yeah.
And this film's gonna have the same problem. It's going to It's gonna have to answer a lot of questions. It's gonna have to plug in a lot of plot holes. And honestly, I think it's too gargantuan of a task for just one film to do, and that's where my expectations are so now low on here.
Yeah.
I'm very cautiously gonna go into this film thinking that it's even gonna be halfway worth
Yeah.
my time and my money. You know, this may I'm afraid that this is going to be yet again a series of trilogies that I probably won't ever watch again. Um,
Mm.
you know, I've only watched Force Awakens once. After since it was in the theater, it's not a repeat thing. I
Mm.
haven't watched the 1, 2, and 3 movies. I can't even tell you the last time I watched those, and I just won't. I'm not interested in that. It's the original trilogy for me, and that's the only thing I see worth my time of repeating
Yeah.
and going through there.
Mhm.
And I'm just really cautious about how this is going to end. And it almost seems like the scene where you see Ray and Finn and them up on kind of like the cliff, and you see the Death Star crash there, and you hear that laugh, and it's almost like Disney and Abrams are like, what can we do
To
to
make this
to
right.
make this right? What like to give the fans just so excited about at least giving us their first run money, and so that at least we can break even on this film. And they're like, that's it, that's it. We'll throw Palpatine's laugh into it, and boom. And while I'm excited by that prospect and what it could be, because I've already seen just some theories out there on what this whole thing could mean in the 9 episode arc um,
Right.
of it, and those theories are very interesting, and it kind of that part excites me. But as a whole, I mean, this is another set of 3 movies that I'm just not right with.
Yeah.
Well, there was no foreshadowing that Palpatine could even potentially be back. They never alluded to it. They never, even hinted that anyone was higher than Snoke.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no hint or no foreshadowing or anything that even Palpatine's presence is even still felt in the galaxy. And
But maybe it is in the fact that this is why the First Order exists. This is why this fight's still going on, because the original perpetrator of it never really went away.
did
Maybe
any?
Who is Snoke to Palpatine? And why
Yeah,
was Palpatine out for 2 and back now? I mean, I guess these answers are going to hopefully be answered.
well, it's going to be a lot of exposition because it's like all the questions that they built up never got answered, and then not only do they have to, there's 2 challenges in episode 9. There's telling the story that they wanted to tell from Abrams wrote out like a treatment for all 3 films. The challenge of telling the story that he wanted to tell, plus fixing all the damage that Rian Johnson's film did. I mean, that's why they replaced Colin Trevorrow, who's supposed to do episode 9, with J.J. Abrams. They're like, it's funny that Disney won't ever say like, we made a mistake or mistakes were made, or maybe we just didn't get the right person for. I mean, obviously they'll never publicly throw Rian Johnson under the bus. Maybe internally they kind of.
They did. They took away his trilogy.
I heard it's still in
hiatus.
production, but that might be miscommunication or whatever. But yeah, it's like they put a hiatus on all Star Wars movies after episode 9. I think they realized Rian John, they had like films for Infinity every year on Star Wars, and then episode 8. I mean, they can try to blame Solo for it, but I thought Solo was fun. I enjoyed Solo well enough, but trying to throw Solo under the bus as being the problem with what's happened with Star Wars.
Yeah, that's not it.
no, The Last
No.
Jedi is what happened to Solo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People got pissed and boycotted Solo, which was unfortunate. It was a fun movie, and I was far more interested in seeing that.
That's one I've watched at least 4 or 5 times, more than this new trilogy.
So it's they're not. It's like, hey, we trashed your franchise. Let's reward you by giving you your own individual trilogy. And eesh.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on what Episode 9 might be. Did any of you ever read the Dark Horse comic series Dark Empire? It came out in the early 90s.
Mm-mm.
It was basically they're still fighting. Han, Luke, and Leia and everybody are still fighting. One of the first scenes where Luke comes out, he actually stares down and fights off an AT-AT walker, which they kind of hit. When I saw that, that was my first hint that something they might be kind of drawing from Dark Empire from Last Jedi, but they kind of slightly did it. But Palpatine basically came back as a clone. He had like a whole clone thing. That's why he brought the clones in the first place, and he was going to be his own clone, and he was going to come back and keep ruling forever. That was his goal all along, and I'm kind of wondering if they're starting to dip into that source material, and I'm okay with that if they do.
At least just pulling that idea, yeah. Go ahead, B.
Oh, I was saying that just makes more sense. Like, I totally buy that.
Was Snoke's just a kind of a melty clone of Palpatine?
Possibly.
That's an interesting thought. I hadn't considered that, but maybe.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I mean, this is just a teaser trailer. This doesn't come out until December, so there is some time to hopefully get more information and more story plots. Not too much, but something to kind of give us.
Right.
She has Han Solo's blaster and a lightsaber, so that's interesting.
I'm watching it again. I'm trying to see if that actually is, because it's in a holster, so it's kind of hard to tell.
I know Han gave her a blaster in Force Awakens.
Well, maybe that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But looks like Lando's got the Falcon back. I guess Over My Dead Body really did come true.
Yep, I like that meme that's going around.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, the Rise of Skywalker, what does that mean? What, this is the end of the Skywalker saga, so to speak, and
makes it sound like it's just beginning.
Right.
Well, I think it confirms my theory, my 4-year-old theory at this point, that Rey is really a Skywalker, and that's why they've never bothered giving her last name.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like, oh no, she's a Kenobi. Oh, and then Ryan Johnson's like, oh no, she's nobody. Anyone can be a Jedi. I'm like, no, she's a Skywalker, dude. Lucas, for all his
then it makes the Skywalkers pretty much bastards for leaving her nowhere and not looking out for her, at least that we know of.
Again, we never got an answer.
Unless it's mimicking what happened with Luke.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Sure.
It's
for her protection.
For her protection, put her on a desert planet, blah, blah, blah. Because that's, Anakin started on a desert planet, so hey, let's all just grow up on a desert planet as part of our destiny.
Well,
yeah.
Skywalker's destiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Involves desert planets.
Yes.
Still convinced Rey is a Skywalker, and I'm going to dunk on people when I'm proven right. Bam! I told you 4 years ago. No one listened. Some listened, and they were right, but others, no.
I heard you. I just wasn't listening.
Where?
Can we take one pause real quick?
Oh.
Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, I'll edit it. Whatnot. I'll just edit it. What about me? No one has spoken about me.
Yeah, why would he feel... Oh, we'll wait and talk about it when he comes back.
Not even one little snitch about me? No? I mean, did you see me?
Or your abs.
My helmet has red cracks in it?
Okay, sorry. For some reason, my charger wasn't charging. My laptop was fucking dying.
Red crack?
No. Oh,
Okay.
Kylo, you're such a ham.
All right.
So you're back, and where do you want to? Were we in the middle of a sentence when you left, or were we like? Can we
No, I
transition?
think we're just trying to. Yeah, we're transitioning.
Okay, cause we're talking about what Skywalker means, but
Right.
yeah,
Well,
Danny just brought up Kylo Ren. Is like we should probably talk about him.
right.
And I
Yeah.
wanted
We
to
haven't talked
piece.
about this guy much.
Yeah. Bring him up.
Well, it's just going to be interesting to kind of see what the end of his arc and storyline is going to be. You know, he's rebuilding the mask, the helmet, and you
Yep.
can see the little red marks on it, kind of scar. It gave me visions of like scar tissue, in a way, and so you see him kind of putting the pieces back together because he internally is absolutely struggling with himself, and it just makes me wonder if in episode 9 will we see Rey kind of bring him back to the good side, or is he lost to the dark side for good? You know,
And it makes it look like he's embracing the dark side again by rebuilding the helmet and getting back into his original
outfit, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like he's
Which I'm starting to wonder if they ever meant to break that thing in the first place.
right.
just having a temper tantrum.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he actually got his helmet back. I mean, don't they have janitors on? What they do have janitors in the New Order. You think someone would like go in the elevator, sweep that up in a little dustbin, and be gone?
Yeah, but some fanboy of his, because he went out and found Vader's ashes
True.
helmet too. So maybe there was somebody else who was like, "Oh man, this is the boss's helmet, man. I'm gonna keep this."
Or maybe it's the
Sell it on
Knights
eBay.
of Ren we've never seen.
Space eBay.
Oh yeah, right. These Knights of Ren, yeah. Maybe one of them took it and had kept it for safekeeping.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to see them. Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one loose end that they really need to bring full circle in this one.
Yeah. So, do you think Rey is Luke's daughter or
Yeah.
Solo's and Leia's?
I think Luke. I'm
You,
pretty much banking on Luke at this point.
you don't think she's a Kylo Ren's twin?
See, that's where I'm.
That would make episode 8 even creepier with all their lustiness that they were.
But
They were definitely thirsty.
Original trilogy.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly,
All right.
you
All right.
know? I seriously think that's where they're going to go with that, and it's just again copy and paste
Yeah.
from it. The Skywalkers just really have the hots for each other at the very beginning of meeting, and then
They just like keeping it in
It's
the
like the
family.
Skywalkers are from Arkansas or something.
yeah,
Well, they're on backwater planets, so
Yeah.
yeah, they're in that solar system over there that people are like, man, let's go around it.
Dude, you get bored out there in the dirt, okay? There's nothing to do.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I will say from a personal fan service standpoint, I am happy that it looks like C-3PO is actually being involved in an adventure again, because for the longest time, C-3PO and R2-D2 for like, this would be like the sixth film. It's like they've been window dressing and so many films post the original trilogy. And it's like, why would they not be involved in anything?
Right.
And I didn't see R2, but at least 3PO looks like he's getting involved with some sort of action.
And BB-8 had an even smaller little thing next to him with a kind of a green cone. Because there was that scene they were doing like dogs where their like heads kind of tilted like they're
Oh, the
looking
Death
at
Buster
something.
on the unicycle?
Yeah. I think he's called AAA
Dio is what he's. Yeah, I read that up.
7 or something.
Yeah. That'll be interesting
I'm
to
just
see
thinking
that.
like AAA batteries are small.
That's all, yeah, the double A's.
I don't know. We got to get some movement on Finn and Poe and Rose Tycho.
I can tell one thing: they probably will not be producing a lot of Rose action figures this time around.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm even curious to see how those characters, how much screen time they get, how much storyline they get, or if they're going to be more ancillary
Yeah.
backgrounds, yeah, stuff. Yeah,
They didn't bother putting her in a teaser.
Well, R2D2's not in the teaser either.
Yeah, that's true.
I kind of feel bad. I did feel bad for Kelly Marie Tran. She was just trying to be an actor in a Star Wars film, and she got crapped all over. And it's like, it's not her fault that the Rose character was just bland. That's the way Johnson wrote her, and it's like, I'm sure she seems like a lovely person, but it's like she didn't get anything to do. But then again, none of the other characters introduced in the prior film got anything to do. They all they just bumbled around, and yeah, they were dumb from the first film.
Yeah, bumbling around is the exact appropriate word for that.
So maybe under the hands of a better writer, maybe her character will be better, like everyone else's character deserved.
Mm-hmm.
right.
I hope we don't see Benicio del Toro's character.
Oh God, no!
One that I'm like,
yeah.
please don't.
But he subverted our expectations. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that enough? About family, Baltimore. God, would have thought you would understand.
All right, let's go around, Danny.
So it's I'm not gonna like throw up anything or whatever. I'm just gonna say it's cautiously got my cash, but it's very very cautious. Like I'm thinking I'm not gonna be there day one. I'll probably be there at a matinee. So I can minimize the financial damage that this film is going to take on me. And I haven't seen what the runtime, or haven't heard what the runtime is, but so I'll at least I'll give it that.
That's so interesting to hear for a main entry Star Wars film. So yeah, we'll see more or less eventually. I'm kind of, wow.
Yeah.
That's what it's been reduced to, unfortunately.
Yeah. So.
Oh shoot! Everybody's video is frozen.
Oh.
I can hear y'all, but your video's frozen.
Oh wait, Baltimore moved slightly. Oh, again.
Okay, now we're good. Well.
Okay.
Yep, we're good now.
Yep.
All right, so I said mine, so I'll go ahead. We'll just edit all that out, and so
Okay.
we'll just go around this way. So, Guy, trash or cash?
Cautiously cash. I like I said, I had to learn how to temper my expectations. Looking back, realizing that the only thing I really cared about in Last Jedi were Mark and Carrie's performances and anything to do with anything that I loved as a kid. And it's like everything else was just like, I don't really care. Everything was just bland and lame and forgettable. And with this, they've got a lot of work to do to, tell the rest of the story they wanted to and fix all the garbage that happened the last time. And it's funny watching people fight about this thing, because some people try to like say this is the greatest film of all time. It's an elevated piece of art, like it's Picasso or the Sistine Chapel or the Beatles' White Album or whatever. And it's like, no, you watch more movies. This is not the best film of all time, and it's not even the best Star Wars film of all time. But they have a lot of work cut out for them, and it's too bad that this last film has to be settled with so much backstory and course correction so that it could not tell this. I feel this potential Palpatine story deserves a lot more room to focus on that. And depending on how long this thing is, I hope it's adequately covered, because if it's some last minute pop-up cameo fight the end, that's going to suck. But I guess we'll see. I can hope the best for this as I can, but I don't know what we're going to get this time out. Hopefully something good. Hopefully something that's like, well, okay, well, at least it ended well. How about you, Baltimore?
Yeah, I think I'm joining the chorus here. Cautiously optimistic. I I have more faith in JJ to fix the mistakes of 8. You know, maybe we could have Thanos' snap, just get rid of 8 altogether. But, you know, I know that the film takes place a year or 2 years after 8, so there is time for Palpatine to be a presence. Maybe they start the film off acknowledging Palpatine's alive, or you know, something about that. That would go a long way to fixing, you know, that kind of expectation. But yeah, it does have a lot riding on its shoulders to tie this up, you know, and I don't expect them to tie it in a nice little bow and, you know, be done and happy and complete.
Yeah.
I think that's an unrealistic expectation, you know, considering that these stories are ongoing and ever evolving. And at some point, there's going to be, for lack of a better word, 10, 11, 12. You know, so the story doesn't really end, but at least this can have a bookend for it. So cautious. Don't fail us. You're our only hope.
Well, exactly. This is kind of our only hope in that in this trailer is like this is the last one of this story. There won't be a 10, 11, 12. There'll be a new 1, 2, 3.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're all on the same page pretty much here. Matinee money, though. I might opening night just so I avoid any spoilers. Try to get to the first show possible.
So true.
That would be the only reason I spend Prime dollars. But yeah, this is one of those movies that's, as for the trailer trash, it's like, yeah, we're gonna give it our money. You know, the trailer wasn't trash. It had some cool scenes. You know, the backflip over the TIE fighter or whatever those are called. What that specific ship? I forget what it's called.
I think it's an interceptor or something like that.
Yeah.
The Kylo just using the hilt saber, taking a guy down, running through a forest was cool.
Like a wrestler.
Yeah, while stabbing him with the little exhaust porch.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. Lando, his yippee through the warp drive or warp speed.
Yeah.
You know, it had the beats and enough of some cool imagery. Like, yeah, as a trailer to get you to see a movie, it worked. Although they need to stop with the heavy breathing. This isn't a porn parody. This is a serious film.
Or is it?
Super serious.
I mean, they need an in-game like running time to wrap this up. Honestly,
Exactly. It needs to be 3 to 6 hours with an intermission or something. You know.
Like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
At a minimum, 3 hours. It's got to be. If it's 2, then we're gonna have problems.
It's gonna be at a breakneck pace if they do that.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As long as they don't go to any gambling planets or anything like that, they should be able to cram enough of the story in 3 hours.
We'll see.
All right, bring it home, Chappie.
Well, that is our thoughts on the Rise of Skywalker. You'll definitely have to let us know in the comments. Start a discussion. Are we insane for not thinking Last Jedi was the greatest cinematic achievement in human history? Or do you agree with us that we all thought it's caused a lot of problems this last film is going to have to sort out? Does the new trailer excite you, or are you just simply over it at this point and kind of glad that there's no more Star Wars films for a little while? Definitely let us know what you think in the comments. We'll be back doing all new videos very soon, and until then, it's all geek to us. Take care. Maybe they'll bring back Akbar as a Force ghost. It's all cool, dude.